What have you done? The oath you have taken is all but broken. All is undone. Demons have come to destroy.
Idle time is wasted time. Let's get on it.
I think I see a cutscene coming on. I do feel a cutscene coming on. A raging cutscene. Where the hood at? There you are.
And so we meet again. No, Uther. That is not how this must begin. I owe you an apology, Commander. When last we met, I intended to explain myself. Fate, however, intervened.
I escaped, you mean? Yeah, I escaped, you mean? Oh man, this is an interesting conversation. This is an interesting enemy. I might have mentioned this before. I believe Uther is a character from one of the novels, like a Grey Warden that kind of like got just lost in the deep roads and eventually met up. Oh no, I think she voluntarily went with the architect. I haven't read the novels myself, unfortunately. I haven't actually read a lot of Bioware novels. I probably should get on top of at least one of them. But yeah, I escaped, you mean?
I restrained you, only to prevent the misunderstanding that occurred with the rest of your order.
A misunderstanding? Did you not attack the Grey Wardens?
I sent the Wizard to ask for the Grey Warden's help. I should have anticipated that you might view our approach as an attack. I mean,
you did kill us.
Judge how your kind
you killed people, though, is the thing.
It was most unfortunate.
Or technically, yeah. I guess maybe... I'm assuming what happened is the Darkspawn showed up and were like, yo, we got a message for you punks. And then they were like, attack! And they were like, well, we don't want to get killed. And they just started attacking back. And you did bleed them dry. You did kill them. I need a better explanation for that.
The Grey Wardens that were brought to me were already dead. I took their blood just as I took yours, because I had little choice. Things have not gone as I planned. I only ask that you hear me out. Should you still wish to slay me afterwards, you may try.
All right. Fair enough.
My kind has ever been driven to seek out the old gods. This is our nature. When we find one, a blight is begun. Each time...
This is the slowdown we need for the story beat.
And you fight back until we are defeated. To break the cycle, my brethren must be freed of their compulsion. For that, I need Grey Warden blood.
Why do you need Warden's blood?
In order to become what you are, you drink the blood of my kind.
That's true.
Transform. Similarly, we must transform. I have created a version of your joining that uses the blood of Grey Wardens. You take the taint into yourself. What we take is your resistance. That is how my brethren are freed. In your blood lies the key to their immunity against the call of the old gods.
This is an important distinction. Because in a way, the Grey Warden joining is a pseudo-vaccine against the taint of the Darkspawn. It's just poison. And the ability to ingest and enchant and manipulate the poison as a Grey Warden is still deadly, but it's not a instant death that the regular taint is. It's also important to note that eventually, I mentioned this before, Grey Wardens who do survive with the taint for a long time do become ghouls and do lose their minds, kind of becoming almost Darkspawn-like in nature and do follow the taint. So it's not a permanent solution. But that being said, the Darkspawn themselves retaking the almost vaccinated version of their own essence to build up a resistance is interesting because it suggests that The Darkspawn themselves are not the source of the taint. The taint itself is something, and they are an organism that exists outside of the taint. And there's precedent for that, because we'll see in Dragon Age 2 that the taint can actually affect other things, as far as minerals, as far as landscapes and environments. Not just species of living organisms, but organisms as far as plant life and what you might consider inorganic material. Like lyrium is a big example that we're going to get into in Dragon Age 2. But this makes the assumption that there's something deeper to the taint, that with a dash of enchantment or humanity raises the Darkspawn intelligence level, or raises them out of an instinctual, bestial-like nature that avoids them having to succumb to the calling, whether because they're able to just simply resist it now or block it out is the question. So that in lies the interesting and complicated scenario of the Darkspawn sapiens, is that they can live. It's just a very nuanced process, and now we're going to get into the weeds of it. Of okay, some of them are intelligent, but others seem just straight up crazy.
Once they are freed, the Darkspawn think for themselves. They speak. They act. Some, however...
Notice that they only have freed human minds so far, too. No dwarves or shrieks. No genlocks or shrieks.
The mother gathers them to stop me, as she seeks to stop you. I cannot defeat the mother alone, and I cannot free the Darkspawn unless she is defeated. Our goals are the same.
This reeks of stupid. The last thing we need is more Darkspawn thinking for themselves.
Darkspawn or no, he has a good point. Do we really want to keep killing each other forever?
This is what my sister saw. An ally amongst the Dark...
Valana drank the Kool-Aid a while ago with her sister.
We cannot pass up.
Help me kill the mother, and after it is done, I will leave to continue my work.
So, okay, we still have to ask more questions about this. There's a lot more to this still. What is the mother exactly? I know she's a brood mother.
My most flawed creation. Freedom drove her mad, and she has poisoned the minds of the others. She has influence with the ones who have not been freed, and she gathers them as an army. I do not seek to rule, my brethren. I only seek to release them.
So this is the awakening. In Awakening, it's the awakening of the Darkspawn sapiens and their minds and their intelligence. And the mother herself is a brood mother that he helped awaken, free of the instinctual nature of the Darkspawn by giving her Grey Warden blood. She didn't like that because she's free thinking now. She much preferred it when the calling of the archdemons was luring the Darkspawn, and obviously all the unfree Darkspawn sympathize with that, so they're going to side with her. Plus, she's a brood mother. They protect them anyway, so that's where that kind of is coming from there. But how did you become freed exactly?
I was born as I am, an outsider amongst my kind. Why? I do not know. Why do some of your kind become Grey Wardens? Why do some possess magic? I have no answers.
I'm assuming he means become Grey Wardens, not volunteer. I mean, like, why do some of you die and some of you don't? I'm assuming that's what he means specifically, because we volunteer for that. But yeah, because magic too is the same thing. Like, how do people are born mages? So he has no idea where he is, where he's from. A running theory at the time was that he was one of the 7 Darkspawn Magisters, not Darkspawn Magisters, one of the 7 Magisters that invaded the kingdom of the Fade, of the Maker's Seat. And the reason he is like this is because he was among the first to become a Darkspawn and most likely retained his mind as a result. We've never actually had this confirmed exactly. I don't know if word of God came down from the developers about this or the writers, but that's the leading theory, and I'm inclined to believe this, right? There's more evidence for it in the future. So, but the Darkspawn, a lot of them seem to not want to be free.
And how would they know when the choice has been deprived of them? Without choice, there is only one path before them, and that leads to the Blight. I believe there is another way.
But you do have to steal blood from us, and you're not exactly taking it willingly.
I thought it little different from your order's use of Darkspawn blood. We both do what we must in response to the Blight. The first blood came from Uther, freely given.
Yeah, so there she is. She is a Grey Warden, absolutely.
She was a Grey Warden, as you are, and joined us many years ago.
So, here comes the question. Is before the end, will you side with the Architect or against the Architect? Do you believe in a chance of the Darkspawn being more than what they are and possibly an end to Blights in the future? Or would you rather be done with them altogether? I'm of the opinion I'd rather see where there's ghosts. My methodology for the series has always been, like in RPGs when I was younger, is keep characters alive because let's see what happens and keep the story interesting by having the most number of variables in effect. But it also came from a more morally altruistic place too, where it's just like I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And despite this being a very complicated scenario, I am in fact interested in a Darkspawn future where we have allies. So, I think it's cool. And I listen, we've made some mistakes, but anybody that's not gonna just pop off at me is aces in my book.
This is the right thing to do. Sarani believed it, and I do too.
No! No! This is a monster! I can't let you do this!
Okay, so by the way, it's important to note that again, like the Amaranthine decision of leaving it or of saving it or burning it, there are detractors and proponents for the solution. Nathaniel and Valana are cool with this. Anders, I believe, is cool with this. Ogren, I don't think is cool with this at all. He just wants to kill Darkspawn, keep it simple. Sigrun, of course, is a Legionnaire. Kill Darkspawn, that's it. Justice is very justice obsessed. To him, it's like, no, these are the Darkspawn that helped, like Darkspawn plural killed Kristoff, and I must get revenge for them. They must answer for all their crimes. And then, am I missing anybody? No, yeah, these three here. Yeah, no, that's it. So yeah, I think it's split down the middle. I think 3 and 3 each oppose and each side with. But like Sigrun, come on, Blight's done forever. If we can do this,
I do, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Thank you, Commander. I realize what a leap of faith this is for you. I hope that I prove worthy of your trust. The mother lies ahead, Warden. I cannot approach her physically. Her children protect her from my power. But when you reach her, I will do whatever I can to help you. You have my promise.
well, he blinked out of existence. Sigrun didn't like that, but that's okay. She's still our friend. Oh, so also that leads to the fourth one, which is not a tower. You might have seen it already. The Architect summons a pyre of fire. She scorches. Friendly fire is possible with almost all of these. Yeah, I think only the Architect's is, which is funny because he's like kind of your new pseudo friend. So it's just like, hey, friendly fire. Oh, am I missing one really? It's probably in one of the sacks here. There you are. All right, which one is this one? Okie dokie. This one is stunning. I would like to have the healing one the most, but we'll get there eventually. So, by the way, that decision to choose whether or not to spare him, that has some consequences in the future games to a certain extent. I don't think we've seen him on camera again in any of the games. I don't think the books have gone into too much detail about it either, but I like to have it in my save file.
More time.
Hey guys. Oh, hold on. Hold still. Everybody, nobody move. Alright, now direct them. Oh, I slipped. How embarrassing.
This should be easy enough. Right, as you wish.
Burning. Get out. Oh, you screamed at me. Oh, we're surrounded.
This should be easy enough.
Any of you have any crystals? This one, that's a... Ah, cool. Vestments of Earthemiel. Earthemiel is the old god name of the archdemon we just killed. Each archdemon that you kill technically has the spirit of an old god, and if you recall, we helped Morgan save the old god's soul. So Arthemiel's soul, quote unquote, should still be in her baby, her bat baby, her bat baby, her babo, as it were.
As you wish.
Nope, he's slowing down, but he's not slowing down.
This should be easy enough.
Let's actually take control of people and see
They'll
what we
never
can
know
do.
what hit him.
Oh, I hit the wrong person. Oh, jeez. Okay. Alright. Let's push him back.
As you wish.
Alright, get off me.
Let's get started.
Alright. Thank you. Oh, I'm trying to heal you before it's too late. I think I got her, yeah. Okay.
What needs killing?
If you insist.
What is my task?
May the gods rest.
There we are. Alright, I miss anything? Nope. Nope, okay. Don't want to miss any crystals, you know? And the Drod. Fleshy pod. I think I have 2 crystals now, maybe 3. Oh, by the way, yeah, you absolutely have to fight the Architect if you want to kill him, which you do. You kill him and Uther. So that's a death. That's a confirmed death for you. Good on you. Ooh, careful, Sigrun.
As you wish.
Thank you.
Let's get started. Right. As you wish. On. Right. Let's get started.
There we are. Oh, hey. We didn't say you could do that. Cut. Slash. Oh, hey guys. I got one.
This should be. Only one shall stand.
And one shall fall. Oh, jeez Louise.
For the Legion of the Dead!
As you wish. This should be easy enough. Right. Let's get started. As you wish.
Die, just die. You're a mage, I see you. He resists some of it. Oh, good.
Victory shall be mine.
Why did you do that? Why? Who told you could do that?
Let's get started.
Ah, I slipped. Oh, I slipped.
It will be done.
Oh man, that's it's rough down there. Oh, you have to load this up. You have to load this up. Thank you.
Let's get started.
For the Legion of the Dead!
This should be easy enough. Let's get started.
I'm your worst nightmare.
On. This should be easy.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to save you. Ow. Kill the last one, for goodness sake. Alright, that got tense. That got like a little tense at the end there. All right, I believe it's locked. We got a crystal. I think that was the last. Oh, this is the last crystal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. We have all the towers activated. We can now use their powers. Where's the disciple? He's not here. I guess he didn't drop anything. Funny. All right. Well, let's do this. The nest. The nesty nest. Down in the mucky muck now. Hello. Yeah. Hey, look at all this. I want to see if there's something in the background that I can see that should be there. I don't see it though, so I'm assuming it's not. Now you've done it.
Now the pieces fall into place. The Grey Warden comes, the instrument of the Father.
How have I not been flagged on YouTube for this, honestly? How, I have no idea.
Oh, how my children protect me. How they love me.
I have told you many times.
Oh, you're here in spirit
Mother,
form somehow.
I am not the Father. I am simply the architect.
It does not change what you are. You took away that beautiful music, left us with nothing.
It was a mistake to free you. It has left you with madness. I am truly sorry.
The really sad part of this is, despite awakening her and her not wanting to be awakened, she was actually a human at one point. Like, this is what they do, if you remember from the Origins bit, when we saw like the Hespith song about like how they turned dwarves into broodmothers. That was a dwarven broodmother for Genlocks. This one produces Herlocks, which is probably why we see the most like Herlocks in the game potentially. Well, obviously because there's more humans than any other species. Yeah, it was a mistake to free you. It's left you with madness. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's what's done is done, man. You gotta go. And what's sad is you actually probably used to be a person that wouldn't have wanted this. And gaining your sapience has done nothing for you. Which is really the biggest crime here.
But perhaps the Warden would like to hear how it was that the Father began the Blight. You want the source of the Archdemon? The one who brought all our kind to the surface? Here he is!
We should never have trusted any Darkspawn.
There it is then. Unfortunate. I did find the old god Athemiel, but I did not wish another blight. I attempted my joining ritual. My hope was that this would free all Darkspawn, unravel the curse from its source. Alas, I was unlucky.
So the architect started the fifth blight by accident, because he found the old god. He found the old god in dragon form slumbering beneath the earth. Tried to reverse joining it, but the problem is it's not yet tainted at all. So you should have actually did the joining after the Darkspawn found it, or better yet, avoid it from becoming Darkspawned at all. That would have been the proper solution. So him trying to do it before the Darkspawn taint it and turn it into an Archdemon really wouldn't have done anything. Although the calling, now that I think about it, the calling is specifically Darkspawn oriented, so it might be that it's already tainted to some degree. But it is his fault. He did do it. You gotta think about these things, man.
It is not the way of the Grey Wardens to do what must
Yeah,
be
those
done.
are the ways of the dumb Grey Wardens,
In
man.
combating the Blight. The Blight is a menace, both for your people and for mine.
Listen, I understand you thought you had to do something, but my point was, don't you think about consequences?
How lonely the Father was. How terrible to be the outcast, the outsider. He claims he wishes the Darkspawn to be free, but what he truly wants is to correct them.
I mean, you're broken, yes. It's either I kill you or I fix you.
Is mad.
There's nothing else
You will
here.
be allowed to.
Begone, Shadow. You cannot.
I don't know how she did that.
any more than you already.
Like, your speech isn't doing anything for me.
Now the hero is
Like, it doesn't matter if he's slightly wrong. You're still 100% wrong.
Your ways. You
No, I won't.
let her be. No, not after.
No, maybe if you had talked to me all nice, this would be a different story.
It all must come crashing down. Perhaps we will hear the song again when we die. Oh, let it come. Let it come.
So this is a... Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is a rehash of a Broodmother fight from the base game. But it is a bit different. Bit different. I guess she does have magic. God, she is tearing into me. And she also ripped away all my magic. And all my buffs. Oh my god. I have to run now. It's time for me to run. Holy cow.
Time for a little.
Alright, let's... Hold on. We don't have a lot to work with right now. Alright, we're gonna keep that off. You probably don't have time to do anything. But I guess let's try. Here, you try to summon a bear. I don't know what you guys are doing. Try your best. Here, drink a potion. And me, God, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know where to start. Rock armor, for sure. No, get away. Stop it. I don't want no part of that.
Let's get started.
Okay, you know what? Let's put combat magic back on. Thank you. Alright, let's try killing this one tentacle before she murders us all.
Ready and waiting.
And then when I get the chance, I'm gonna pop Spell Bloom. The time is now. Spell Bloom. Because I want to regen my mana. You're being just the biggest jerk.
This should be.
Go away. Just stop it.
As you wish. Right. Let's get started.
I just want to get rid of some of these. But it's so hard.
This should be easy enough.
I don't have a lot of magic left.
Right. On. As you wish.
Now there's more of them. Great.
Right. As you wish.
Alright, I gotta think about this. I gotta think of something here. I don't have enough for that.
At your command.
How is she doing? Are we even attacking her? I don't even know. Don't even know. Alright, I'm gonna... Not, Villana, I need you to get out of the way. I froze... Oh, gosh dang it. This is all kinds of bad. I hope their eyes aren't broken, by the way. Alright, hold on. Let's get you back up.
This should be easy enough.
No!
Yes.
No, it says. And now you've been stinging swarmed, and now I'm on the floor again. This is the worst it's ever been. Okay, here. I'm gonna stand here. I'm not moving. Heal.
Let's get started.
Go away. I'm gonna stand here for a while. Nathaniel, why are you doing so poorly? Alright, I need, here. Yeah, give me more mana. Let me suck that mana free.
This should be easy enough. Let's get started.
Yeah, it's good. No, gosh dang it, help me. Kill it. Thank you. Alright, I got your back. Got it. Alright, Spell Bloom again. Where are you, Villana? Okay, good. How are you doing? Are you even... How are you doing? I think you're dying, actually. No. We need to get back to work on you. Okay, Man, this is just awful. Alright, I'm gonna start attacking you.
This should be easy enough.
I'm gonna take off this, by the way.
Here we go.
I'll put it back on later.
Right. This should be easy enough.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, they're doing it. They're cleaning it up.
Let's get started.
There we go. Let's chip away.
As you wish.
We're gonna chip
Let's
away.
get started.
Where's Sigrun?
This should be easy enough.
She's up there. Oh, wow. What was... Oh, the numbers are jumping over each other. That's what happened. Alright, let's turn this off. Let's show up. Oh, you know what? I didn't even use this. Let's use it. There you go. That lasted for like a second. Ow. Oh, wow, we're good and stunned.
Show them no.
Don't die, don't die. I just brought you back. I just brought you back, lady.
I'm at
You have to wait now, because you're dead. I'm just gonna stand here now.
This should be easy enough.
Heal. Where are you? There you are.
Let's get started.
Just go away. Almost dead. You turned off my crap again, you witch. You're the worst type of person there is.
This should be easy enough. Let's get started. On.
There. The worst. I hate you. We're not friends anymore. Oh yeah, this is cool. So that's really radical. That's when they started introducing class-specific finishers. So depending on what class you are, the game lets you finish the boss in a very specific way, and it's awesome. So obviously, if you're a rogue or a warrior, it's a bit different, and you get your mage finisher there too. Awesome. Really, really small detail. I hope they do more things like it in the future, which in some of the parts of the series they do, obviously. And we go straight to the epilogue. No ceremony. Epilogue. So let's start reading. It feels weird to just be at the epilogue. It feels really rushed. After the death of the mother, the remaining Darkspawn forces scattered and fled back to the Deep Roads. The raids on Amaranthine came to an abrupt end. The architect apparently kept his word, gathering his remaining disciples to follow the rest of their kind back underground. Those Grey Wardens and other nations were appalled to hear of the architect's continued existence, but were unable to track him down despite years of effort. So a lot of the other Wardens were really pissed at me for that. But what are they going to do about it? Some within the Order have claimed that the architect's survival guarantees another blight, and yet the Deep Roads have been lately quieter than anyone can recall. Most have resignedly decided that it is now in the Maker's hands. Word of the Grey Warden's heroic salvation of Amaranthine spread like wildfire. When the magnitude of the losses of Vigil's Keep came to light, sympathy drove generous donations from all over. Ferelden into the region's coffers. Amaranthine was restored to her former glory within a year. Vigil's Keep was restored in 5. So this is if you save Amaranthine. If you don't, each origin has a specific thing they call you as an evil like doer for what you did. If you're a human noble, you're like the rotten lord and tyranny over the land, and you gave up on Amaranthine. A mage gets called like a dangerous apostate and maleficar. You know, dwarf gets called something, elf gets called something, all those things. But we got the ending everybody likes us. Because of the warden's support for law and order, Constable Aiden and his men were able to distribute the smuggler's goods to the battered survivors in the grueling days that followed the Darkspawn defeat. I don't remember what the smuggler version of that looks like, but feels like it can't be as good. The Darkspawn messenger, set free after joining the Wardens in the battle, struck out on his own. The city soon buzzed with stories of a cloaked but lisping figure who aided travelers in danger. At the same time, reports of isolated cases of the Darkspawn disease emerged. No one ever connected the two. So he became like a little hero, a little superhero. He does make people have the disease, though, and that's not great. Just by proxy. Although the war devastated many farms in the area of Arling, all agreed the loss would have been greater without soldiers for protection. The farmholders developed a certain reverence for the warden commander, as well as an ongoing reliance on the Grey Wardens for order and protection. This is because I spread soldiers out a little bit everywhere. So, yeah, the farmers, obviously the farms didn't do great, but it would have been great. It would have been even worse without a little bit of protection that I gave them. So there's really, you do the best with what you can there. Dirk, one of the pranksters behind the Blight Orphans scam, was fortunate enough to survive the battle, The unconditional generosity of the Blight Orphan's mysterious benefactor inspired him to establish a legitimate charity dedicated to children who were orphaned. His sweetheart, Melisse, eventually bore him 2 rascals. So this is the see for the orphans. It all worked out in the end. The actual orphans were created and then served. Obviously not Dirk, but he in turn helped actual orphans. Vigil's Keep stood alone against the horde of the Darkspawn. The Mother's forces outnumbered the Vigil's defenders many times over. But the sturdy dwarven walls proved impervious to any boulder that any ogre could throw. The Vigil soldiers, clad in silverite, each felled a dozen Darkspawn before they died. The Vigil held 1 night, then 2, then a week, and eventually the attacking horde broke upon her walls. The Keep developed an almost mythic reputation, the few survivors immortalized in song and legend. That's a cool detail. You did everything you could, you built up this place, and it surpassed expectations. It still fell without your intervention, but they did everything they could with what they had. And there were survivors. Again, Vigil's Keep was restored in 5 years as opposed to Amaranthine in 1. I was really disappointed in Inquisition when you get a similar style keep/castle to take care of, and there's no moment like this where you get to defend it or the bonuses or the upgrades do anything. It's really, really disappointing, quite honestly, and it reeks of a weird development time they probably had with it. Because this is it's oh, okay, this was clearly rushed, but they were able to do a good amount with it. The Vigil became a trading hub that would eventually eclipse the city of Amaranthine, with traders reassured by guards continually patrolling the pilgrim's path, but prosperity bred scheming and the treachery between merchants and nobles, testing the commander's patience for years to come. Peace allowed the Wardens to replenish their numbers. Soon, Vigil's Keep bore a capable army with Wardens at its core. From their ranks emerged new heroes to challenge threats to Amaranthine and all Ferelden. Though through taxes and levies, the Vigil was rebuilt. Years later, Voldrick stood on the battlements to pronounce that the defenses were acceptable. He would never speak more highly of any human engineering. Dark whispers of a conspiracy against the Wardens fell silent after the rash of accidents and disappearances culminated in the apparent suicide of Baden Esmeralda. Ooh. The nobles of Amaranthine remained dutiful. Some even said they were cowed into submission. That's because we took the Dark Wolf version of hey, I'm going to kill them behind closed doors. Among the many legends of the Vigil Spawn was one of the great heroes of the next age, a sheep herder turned soldier by the name of Sir Alec the Valiant, who eventually founded an order of knights that lasted 1,000 years. That's a nice little detail. That's never going to matter in the story ever. Literally, the sequels don't care about that one little dude, but it's a nice little cool little nod about oh man, that one guy you spared, the farmer who became soldier, that guy became his own legend eventually. I'm that's a nice detail. The commander's blade Vigilance was crafted from the bones of an ancient dragon, was boldly stolen by Antivan crows. The blade changed hands many times thereafter, with some master swordsmen pursuing the weapon their entire lives. Some claim that this legendary blade has a life of its own, and that its power is growing. Glavenok further refined his lyrium sand explosives, but left the Warden's employ after Canary mercenaries tried to assassinate him. Although the dwarven Bombardier, took his secrets with him, the learned say he left clues for others to follow in his footsteps. Yeah, the Canary are masters of gunpowder and actual explosives at this point in time. So they don't want other people to have it. The Vigil soldiers wearing the distinctive silverite armor that Masterway crafted came to be known as the Silver Order. Got a little bit of this before. Under the tutelage of the Wardens, the Silver Order deployed into one of the most revered of Ferelden's military forces, a lasting memory of its famous commander. So we got the Silver Order. Again, never going to matter in the story ever again, but it's a nice little detail as far as your choices kind of feel like they matter a little bit. You put in the time. With Ilana and the Architect gone from the region, the Pilgrim's Path began to see traffic again. The massacre of the militiamen and the merchants, however, led to hostilities between the neighboring human settlements and any Dalish clans that passed by. One human villager soon kidnapped and murdered a Dalish child. The clans reacted by giving the Windwood a wide berth, but both sides know that at some point the elves will come back for revenge. Yeah, not great. There's nothing you can do there, honestly. Unless Villana's quest is bugged somehow, and I was supposed to fix that, but I don't think so. A few years after Kal Harol was emptied of Darkspawn, Orgrimmar began sending expeditions to rediscover the knowledge of smithing that had been lost within the Tig. Eventually, House Helmi decided that Kal Harol was too important to be abandoned. At a tremendous cost of Dwarven lives, they cleared the tunnels leading to Kal Harol of our Darkspawn, making the roads between them safe again. It was reclaimed for Orgrimmar once and for all. We have not seen it yet in the story. That would be nice to see it in the story at some point. As promised, Voldrick and Dworkin presented the Orgrimmar Shaper with the stone marker that told how the castless took up arms against the Darkspawn. The commander of Grey was invited to Orgrimmar as a guest of honor at a feast commemorating the defenders. The Shaper read the names of the castles off the marker and presided over a ceremony to return them to the stone as befitted warriors of their stature. In time, the Arling began to forget the tales of the Black Marsh, and ever so slowly, settlers came back in. Scholars said the veil was still thin and the area dangerous, but the people only cared that there were no longer frightened whispers in the shadows. The village was rebuilt. Twice the Baroness's mansion was rebuilt and occupied, once by a wealthy merchant, another time by a Norwegian mage. Both died mysteriously. Don't know how that works. Probably the veil was thin and demons and stuff. Afterwards, the mansion was torn down and they just said forget it. Here we go. The survivors of the siege of Vigil's Keep hailed Anders and his magic for holding back hundreds of assaulting Darkspawn. In the ensuing victory celebration, the men dragged the mage to the fire to engage him in a drinking contest. He lost. He remained with the Grey Wardens a few years longer, training the next generation of mages that we had on offer. But when the Circle Tower called on him to deliver a lecture on the nature of the Architect, much to the Templar dismay, Anders told the commander that his time was over with the Wardens. So yeah, the Circle called on him to do a little lecture, and he's just like, nah, I'm done. I'm not going back. I'm done. And this leads into the DLC, not the DLC, this leads into Dragon Age 2, where Anders will make a very prominent return, non-optionally. So if Anders can potentially die while defending the keep, if you don't do some of his stuff, and obviously if you don't recruit him, so there's a little bit of contention as far as like, oh yeah, Anders kind of continues no matter what you do. So it's like, oh okay. There's even a short story about it if anybody wants to read up on it, on how Anders leaves the Wardens actually. Besides this, and yet not 2 months later, Anders returned, even after the Wardens were his home and his lasting companion. So in this version, we're his really good friends and he comes back all the time. But in the actual version, he eventually leaves permanently. Yeah. Valana never saw her clan again, but neither did she forsake her culture, nor her sharp tongue or her quick temper. Valana's interaction with other Grey Wardens changed her opinions of humankind significantly. Shortly after the Mother's defeat, Darkspawn stragglers who remained on the surface attacked a human village. Valana was the only warden nearby and defended them single-handedly. She did not even sneer once. Years later, in an expedition on the deep roads, Valana took off on her own after saying she had seen Serani in the shadows. The other wardens searched for her, but she was gone. Yeah, I think this version is what happens when you take her into the deep roads. I think if you keep her at the keep, I think she disappears. Potentially, like, dying, but, like, not really. But yeah, Valana's fate for now is that she's disappeared. Over the years, Nathaniel dedicated himself to the Order and to clearing the blemishes on his family name. After saving Turn Fergus Kuzlin from a bandit attack, a portion of the land was actually returned to the house. Nathaniel passed the holding to Delilah's son, and when a new castle was eventually built there, a statue of Nathaniel was erected in the courtyard. Woo, Nathaniel! Justice fought valiantly at the battle for Vigil's Keep, but before the battle horn sounded for victory, a Darkspawn sword removed Kristoff's head. It was, of course, unclear whether the spirit of justice perished or simply departed. At the very least, his wife, Aura, was finally able to claim her husband's ashes. I'm fully aware of this. Yeah, if you leave Justice there, even if Vigil's Keep makes it, he dies. It's just, yeah, he dies. If you bring him with you and he survives the events of the story, he eventually hangs out with the Wardens for a while longer, until at some point he just says, yeah, we're done. I did everything I could for Kristoff. He shows up at Aura's door and drops dead at her feet and says, here are your ashes. Here's your husband's stuff. Kind of a little blunt, but, you know. Either way, Justice's fate is, yes, that he passes on at some point. That being said, we have also not seen the last of Justice, as we'll see in Dragon Age 2. We'll get a little bit more on that eventually. With the mother dead, Sigrun seemed to lose her purpose. She withdrew from her friends in the Order and spoke to them less and less each day. One morning, Sigrun was simply absent. Her bed made and her trunk emptied. A young recruit who had been up the night said she left for her calling, gone to finish what she started in Calharol. Damn it! I was hoping to get the ending for Sigrun that I really liked, which is you're Sigrun's best friend, and you keep giving her reasons to stay and keep giving her like fake jobs to do to keep her around, and she eventually does stay for a really long time. At Vigil's Keep, Ogren rallied a last-minute defense of the gate, taking on 2 ogres simultaneously to allow others time to regain the courtyard. He eventually passed out from the blood loss, and when he awoke weeks later, nobody was more surprised than he to discover he had been credited as a hero. So I like that. Ogren just kind of heroes up if you leave him behind. Ogren continues to regale young Warden recruits with tales of his prowess of both battle and bed. His drinking games prompted at least one recruit to declare that she'd rather reattempt the joining than lift another mug. At his urging of the Warden commander, Ogren took a more active role in his kid's life. He visited Felsi often, wrote letters, which the Warden graciously proofread nearly every week. So you can help him kind of reconnect and stay with his kid. We never hear from Ogren again. Or Sigrun. Like I said, Villana, Sigrun, Oghren, haven't heard from them yet. As a savior for Eldon, he did not remain as commander of the Great for long. The Darkspawn was done as a concern, and the Blight was well and truly over. It was time for him to move on. Some claimed that the commander reunited with his red-haired bard, Leniana, and that they adventured together still. The pair were spidered together in Denerim a year after the Blight's end. No matter the truth, the commander never did return to Vigil's Keep. We did it. That's a done did it. Woo! Yeah, Awakening is a quick one. I don't have the same nostalgia I did from when I beat the main game of Origins. I don't have that quite yet in me. But yeah, Awakening is a short one, quite honestly. We beat that one like in I'll tell you this. I sat down for about like 15 sessions to finish this, so it took me about like 2 weeks to really finish it. Not obviously consecutively. If I had played 2 weeks straight, I probably would have finished it faster. But yeah, it probably took me about 2 weeks' time to really take care of this. What's there to say about... There's not too much to say about Awakening. There's a lot of really fun ideas here and there, as far as Vigil's Keep, upgrading your defenses, character fates that feel like they're a bit more determinate than we got in the original. Obviously, no, maybe that's not true. Maybe they're about the same level of determinant or variables at play. But for the money you pay for Awakening, and even for some of the bugs you get to see a look at, it's not a bad experience, all things considered. You get a bit more lore, a bit more to the characters, a bit more of your own story. I think I mentioned this in the beginning, but if your character died in Origins at the very end, you do get to import an Orlesian warden who starts fresh. So you do get to continue the story as if the hero for Eldon actually died and you're a new character. So you get to start essentially the same continuity with a different character if you like that. Or the same character, however you want to do it. Yeah, I think probably one of the coolest things about Awakening is just how much they up the gameplay as far as like a variety of abilities that you really get to take a hold of. And that's really it. After this, the DLCs don't add too much more as far as like mechanics. I think one or two things they add in. Nothing really over the top. Nothing in terms of the main like abilities and spells that you get. But we're almost done. The last thing, the DLC that I want to do for story purposes is going to be Witch Hunt. Because it's the last kind of important story beat DLC. We're not going to do Leniana's Song. Leniana's Song is just a prequel. Goes into what Leniana did before she hung out with the Warden, before she went to the Chantry. It's a neat little DLC. It's not very long. It's shorter than this, about the same length as Witch Hunt. It's a fun time. A lot of these are worth it just for the bonuses you end up getting in the story. For the gameplay reasons, like Golems of Amgrok is a really hard DLC with one of the hardest bosses in the entire game. Like DLC included, it's one of the hardest bosses. We'll see. There's one thing I would do the DLC for, and that's there's a specific enemy design you don't get to see, but we see it again in Dragon Age 2. It doesn't have as good as build up, but we'll see it again regardless. What more can I say about Awakening? I don't know. It's fun for what it is, and what it is ambitious, but at the same time you can tell it feels very rushed. A lot of reused assets, a lot of new assets, but they're ultimately. It was fun to continue your story, and it's something that I wish we could see more of in a lot of games, as far as like kind of continuing the single player, and games do that, of course, in this day and age. But I'm trying to really coagulate and try to conclude my thoughts here properly, and it feels weird too because I think we're at the middle point here. We still have Witch Hunt to go through. It was a fun time, very rushed. Writing wise, it feels like there isn't a lot to grab hold of. There's some interesting ideas with the Darkspawn that never come back to. There's some interesting ideas overall that we never really got a chance to just dive into, unfortunately, after this. The series kind of changes directions a little bit as far as after Origins, in terms of Dragon Age 2. I'm still hearing news about the Dragon Age 4 that we're getting, so I'm interested to hear a lot about that, as opposed to anything else. After I beat Witch Hunt, I probably won't do Dragon Age 2 for quite some time, to be honest. I'm probably going to hold off on that. I don't think I'm going to do anything in the interim between Witch Hunt and Mass Effect comes out. If the timing doesn't work out where we get a nice, like, even chunk of time, I'll see what I can do if any other videos come out, but I think we're going to try and go straight into Witch Hunt, straight into Mass Effect when that comes out, to do the remaster, to do those episodes. Gosh golly. It's been fun coming back to this, I'll say that. It's been fun in its own little way coming back to this game. I don't think I'll ever play this again. I think doing these LPs, I think this has been like my me kind of doing this all over again, to be honest. So it's fun. You know, it feels funny coming back to do this after all these years and playing these games after a decade of them having been out. But yeah, Great Ally, I was right. I was right. I think that's it. I think I'm oops, I hit my elbow on something. I think I'm out of things to say. I think that's it for me today. Not much else for me to end on, unfortunately. But we still have Witch Hunt to do. That's not going to take very long. I imagine that's going to be maybe 3 or 4 parts at most. Are we going to break 100 episodes? I don't think we are, unfortunately. I don't think we are going to break 100 episodes. I don't think we are. Nah. It'd be fun though. Maybe one day we will. We'll break 100 episodes on something. I don't think Dragon Age is gonna be it. We were close, but I don't think it's gonna make it. I think we hit 90. I think we're gonna break 90 for sure. I think that's it. No, that's it. Just enjoy the music, everybody. Enjoy the music. We'll come back to Witch Hunt. Oh, I'm not doing Darkspawn Chronicles either. That's just a fun what if scenario where you play as the Darkspawn at the end. It's fun, but that's about it. You know, I will say one thing before I kind of like let the credits finish out, and it's playing these old Bioware games again. It's so funny going back to the time when I originally played them. It feels so funny talking about nostalgia, you know? Because I do have nostalgia for this, and obviously it's becoming a little bit less as we continue into the more deeper stuff that's more closer in time to where we are now. And it's hard to encapsulate really. I feel like I'll try this again when Witch Hunt finishes and I do that. It feels difficult to encapsulate why I like Dragon Age so much, and I know I did a good job of that, or at least I did a job of it in Dragon Age Origins when I finished that game up. But like, because playing this game now, it holds up, but not as much as I think I originally thought it did. It has its rough edges. I've played games now that do the same thing but better. You know, playing Pillars 2, for example, like the dialogue in Pillars 2, I just appreciate a lot more than I do the dialogue here. So I'm looking forward to having this feeling again with a different game, honestly. You know, if anything, looking back and having this series under my belt like the way I do, it's been good. It's been fun, and I think like I said before when I played Origins, this was a very formative game for me. It's a very formative game for me. A lot of formative ideas that I got from this. So it's funny coming back after all this time, honestly. It's funny coming back after all this time and re-experiencing it as who I am now. It's a fun ride. I'll say that much. It's a fun ride. But it's come to an end. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay tuned for all our stuff. Stay tuned. And thank you so much for watching. You're beautiful. All of you, really. If no one's told you that today, remember that you are, in fact, very beautiful and great and awesome. And you don't have to subscribe. Just have a nice day. That's all you gotta do. See you later.
Oh, Grey Warden, what have you done? The oath you have taken is all but broken. All is undone. Demons have come to destroy.